What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, check it out. So we listened to that entire Bob Iger interview on the WDW Pro Show, hanging out with them cats. And listen, Bob Iger, if anything you know about Bob Iger is he's a politician, all right? And he's not going to get set up for a fall. This guy knows his way around Hollywood. He knows his way around these interviews. That interview was nothing but softball questions, all right? Bob Iger just laying them joints up in like layup, easy, all right? He didn't even have to think hard about any of the questions that interviewer asked him. I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Iger wrote the damn questions for him at this point. Oh yeah, here go the questions you're going to ask me, But yeah, here's the thing about Bob Iger, okay? Here's the thing that I want everybody to remember when it comes to this cat. Remember what Bob Iger is, all right? He is a politician. He is a snake oil salesman. He is not here to tell the truth. He is here to tell you what he thinks you want to hear. So he's kicking in his head, all right, what do the people want to hear? What do they want to hear? All right, tell them that, so everything is geared towards that. But the thing that I knew that he wasn't going to do is he wasn't going to address that proxy situation, the proxy battle with Nelson Peltz and him. He wasn't going to address that situation whatsoever because that thing is coming up in a month and he can't add any fuel to that fire. He can't give anybody any reasons to side with Nelson Peltz. That document came out, that 130-page plus document. He can't come out and try to answer any of them joints, especially within 24 hours of the thing even dropping. Like Bob Iger just got that thing 24 hours ago. There was no way he was going to try to answer questions around that. He would have stepped in it. He would have screwed up. He would have stepped in it somewhere. No. When they brought the Nelson Peltz thing up to him, this is what he said. Oh, yeah, I'm just trying not to get distracted. Okay, that's it. Because look, Pete, this is about legacy for Bob Iger. This is no longer about Disney. All right. This is no longer about fixing Disney, except fixing Disney and how it relates to his legacy and how it makes him look. Bob Iger is supposed to be this great CEO, this great mind, this brilliant mind of a CEO, when all he's really done is just bought up a lot of companies, and that's pretty much it. But he's supposed to be this great person. Imagine the stain on his legacy if he has to now rely on Nelson Peltz and some activist investors to come in and save his bacon, to come in and fix the problems that he created. Imagine that for just a moment. Bob Iger, big bad Bob, right? One of the greatest CEOs to ever walk the earth. He's got to get rescued by Nelson Peltz? Oh, the humiliation. That's what it is. It's humiliating. Some activist investor had to come in here. Here I come to save the day. I'm going to fix the company. I'm going to rescue the company from the mess you made, Bob. Like that was supposed to be Bob Iger's story, right? That was Bob Iger's story, except Bob Chapek. Bob Iger was supposed to swoop in on the white horse and save the company from Bob Chapek and all the mess that Bob Chapek made. And Bob Iger's just made everything worse. He's been in there and everything's just getting worse and worse and worse until finally we got to bring Nelson Peltz in to clean up your mess. That's the funniest thing about it. Again, he had the script laid out perfectly for him, all right? The perfect end to a wonderful career. That's what it was supposed to be, and it's blowing up in his face. So there's no way in the world he can allow Nelson Peltz to step in here, all right? These guys have giant egos, all right? This guy is a super egotistical, driven monster. There's no way in the world that this dude is about to allow Nelson Peltz, or he is especially not going to fuel the fire of Nelson Peltz coming in. If he comes in, he comes in, but I sure as hell ain't going to help him open the door. I got to keep that door closed. And then if it's just like, man, things just got way up out of control, there's nothing else I can do. All right, damn, I'm going to have to try to spin this my way. Look, I'm going to tell you guys right now, if Nelson Peltz gets on the board, him and Jay Rasulo, they get on the board and they end up turning Disney around and making Disney a success again, Bob Iger is going to try to take credit for that somehow. You know what I'm saying? Bob Iger is going to be standing up there. Yo, baby, we did it. Good job, Nelson, up top. Nelson Peltz going to be like, wait, what are you talking about? What you talking about, man? You was trying to keep me up out of here this whole time. Like, oh, no, man. We was just testing you, bro. We was just testing you, Nelson. All right? Yeah, we did it, baby. We did it up top. Yeah. Bob and Nelson, the dynamic duo. He gonna try to do it. I'm telling you. All right? Because, again, this is about his legacy. All right? He cannot allow a stain on his legacy like Nelson Peltz had to come in and rescue Bob Iger from himself. That's just not going down. He gonna have to spin that narrative somehow to his advantage. I'm letting you know that right now. But let's go ahead and check this out. A Disney CEO, Bob Iger, called the proxy fight being waged by two activist investors a campaign that is, in a way, designed to distract us, to take our eyes off all that's necessary to do what we need to do to generate returns for shareholders. See, but here's the problem, Bob. The two people you're talking about are shareholders. If you was generating returns for shareholders, they would be quiet, okay, as church mice. They wouldn't have nothing to say. The only reason they're doing this is because you're not generating returns. Yeah, but we're trying, but you're failing, okay? You're failing, and every interview and everything that comes out of your mouth speaks more to the failure than to any possible plan of success. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do. Nelson Peltz is coming, and I guarantee you, based on the interview that he gave today, Nelson Peltz gained strength. Now, Nelson Peltz has an interview coming up, or I don't know if it's an interview or a Q&A session, but he has something coming up on Thursday. So he's going to come on the heels of this giant nothing burger of an interview where Bob Iger is just basically curating all the questions so he don't have to answer anything hard. Nelson Peltz is going to come in, and he's got this 130-page document, and he's got facts and details, and he's going to just run through it. You know, and Bob Iger is he's on the back foot, all right? Culture Casino gave a perfect analogy of the situation. Bob Iger is pinned up in his own end zone. He's all the way back on his own end zone right now, right on the 1 yard line, about to go back and get sacked for a safety. You know, and when you look at that situation, what can Bob do at this point? You know, Nelson Peltz got like the 46 defense from the Chicago Bears about to come in there and blitz him and kill him. Bob ain't got no choice. He just got, hey, man, let's just get up out of here. Run it 3 times and punt. And then let's get it back over there. And then let's see if Nelson can go in and score a touchdown. Like, basically, that's the strategy at this point. Bob can't say nothing. He can't say nothing. That 133-page document hit him like a bolt of lightning, I'm telling you. But yeah, it's because you ain't doing nothing to generate returns for the shareholders. Shout out to Mexican Iron Man. You know, you ain't doing nothing for the shareholders, so that's the reason why they got to come with it. Nelson Peltz, Trian Partners, is fielding 2 director candidates, himself and former Disney executive Jay Rasulo, and has been aggressively soliciting Disney stockholders, most recently in a 133-page document yesterday. Investment firms Blackwell's Capital has nominated 3 candidates. Shareholders will elect the board at Disney's annual meeting April 3rd. Yeah, see, again, he only got a month. You know, he got a month left. For him to basically, he's got to cool the noise and hope that, you know, they sucker these cats into voting for his people. You know, these shareholders. We got to sucker these shareholders into voting for us. And if I say anything about this 133-page document that I just got yesterday, if I try to answer questions, I'm going to come off looking like an idiot. He barely know what he's talking about when he's curating the questions for himself, you know? So how is he supposed to answer this? He can't. He got to be very, very careful with what he says right now. From now until April 3rd, Bob got to walk a very tight line, you know? He got to keep them conversations and everything. Hey, man, we got to say this. We got to say this. Again, it's just like a president or any other politician, you know, coming into an election season, you know? It's kissing babies time, all right? It's not the time to be trying to go on the attack. You got to go on the defensive. He got to keep quiet, you know, because, again, if Nelson Peltz gets in there, Nelson Peltz gets all the credit for whatever happens after this. Bob Iger will get no credit whatsoever. Now, I really like this last quote here, right? This entire quote, because it really speaks to the fact that Bob might be in over his head. This might be too much for him to handle right now, and he might actually need a guy with the experience of a Nelson Peltz. Yeah, like, check this out. This is a very complex company to run. There are many moving parts. There are different markets, are different industries that we're in, cruise ships and streaming and movies and TV and theme parks, and you name it. There are different dynamics. Many of the businesses are experiencing the effects of disruption, and that not only takes a significant amount of knowledge, but a tremendous amount of time and focus. And I'm not talking about just me. I'm talking about me and the entire senior management team of the company. We're at this hard every day. And when you go from fixing, which was significant and heavy lifting, to building, to really creating meaningful growth for our shareholders, the only way you will is focus. Yeah, he's saying, see, don't distract me, okay? Don't distract me. I need all of my focus on this thing. But the problem is you haven't been doing nothing for the shareholders, all right? You haven't been doing bupkis for the shareholders. And so that's why these other shareholders, you know, Nelson Peltz and gang, are stepping in. But see, look, like all this stuff that he's saying, man, this is a complex company to run. You know, yeah, we got a lot of moving parts here, okay? We got cruise ships and movies, TV, theme parks, all right? Many of the businesses are experiencing the effects of disruption. Bob, why try to go this alone? Why try to do this by yourself? Why don't you take the advice of a guy that's been around and done a lot of this type of same work for other companies like Nelson Peltz and Trian? Like, why are you excluding these guys out and saying, no, we got to do it? See, it's all about ego. That's why you know it's about ego, because if it wasn't about ego, Bob would be like, nah, we got this. Hey, come on in, Nelson. Hey, have a seat. Yeah, let's figure this thing out, man. We got to fix Disney. I don't care who gets the credit. I want to do what's right by the shareholders. That's the stance he should have taken. And if he did take that, he might actually look like the hero right now. Now he just looks like an idiot and a villain, because all he cares about is himself and his own ego. Because look, Nelson Peltz and them, they've had this. They've done this stuff before. They've helped turn companies around. That's the whole point of an activist investor, to get these companies on the right track. Yeah, check this out. Like, this is one of my favorite parts of this white paper, okay? Trian has developed strong relationships with company boards and management teams following prior proxy contests, okay? So he's going over 3 companies, Heinz, DuPont, and Procter & Gamble, talking about like, yeah, we had to go through proxy battles with these cats too. Like this one with Heinz. They said, well, the company is at a key inflection point and we cannot afford to let the board and management be diverted from our progress and plan by creating a dysfunctional and destabilizing environment. All right. That's what they said before, right? Before Nelson Peltz and gang got on board. Here's what they said after, all right? This was in June of 2006. In March of 2008, I said to another CEO who called me and inquired about Nelson that if I were to form the board today, Nelson would be one of the first directors I'd ask to serve, because he's an insightful, communicative, enthusiastic, energetic, and available director. That's Heinz, all right? Big company. And then you move over to DuPont. Trian has chosen this path, a proxy contest with the potential to disrupt our company at a key stage of execution against our plan, right? Oh, you guys are distracting us, okay? The whole thing Bob Iger is saying, they're distracting us. Look at all this distraction that they're giving us. This is the wrong time for all of this stuff, Nelson Peltz. Right? That's what they said. Now, look, that was January of 2015. What's July of 2017? What are they saying? I have the highest regard for Nelson Peltz. Since becoming the CEO of DuPont, I have talked many times with the Trian team and appreciate their insights on strategy and operations, as well as the collaborative and productive manner in which they have engaged with us. Yeah, see? That's the kind of stuff that Bob Iger is just leaving through, all right? But look, the most important one, all right, this guy from Procter & Gamble, all right? Because it's the same dude. David Taylor was the CEO in August of 2017, still the CEO of August of 2021. I like this one, okay? This is the same guy. And this is what he was saying before. Procter & Gamble is in the best position to continue building a better company without adding Mr. Peltz to the board. Now is the time to focus on accelerating results, prevent anything from derailing the work that is delivering improvement. See, I don't need this dude. We don't need this help. Sounds just like Bob Iger. You're distracting us, all right? Don't derail us, Bob or Nelson. Don't distract us from what we're trying to do. You're a big distraction. All right, what did he say 4 years later? From day one, Nelson has been a focused, collaborative member of the Procter & Gamble's board. Working in concert, Nelson and the board have constructively provided perspective and expertise to help me and Procter & Gamble's senior leaders navigate a challenging external environment and maintain long-term competitive advantages for the benefit of many stakeholders. I'm grateful for his service and the collaborative partnership we've developed over the past few years. See, that's what Bob Iger is like trying to avoid. All right. He don't want to have to come in and say this kind of shit later down the line. Yeah, man, actually working with Nelson Peltz was pretty good. He really helped us, gave us a lot of insights, stuff that we hadn't even thought about. And we really turned the company around. We got to give Nelson Peltz all the credit for that. Bravo, Nelson Peltz, good job. Bob don't want to make that statement. He don't want to be forced into it. He'll leave quietly before that happens. Okay, best believe that. But somebody else will come behind and they'll be having the same little thing on the next proxy battle for Trian. They'll have Disney up here, next to these other cats, and then it'll be like Bob Iger's statements is going to be up here at the top. And then whoever the next CEO is, because Bob ain't going to be making that statement. Hell no. Bob ain't going to be saying, yeah, Nelson was a good guy, man. He ain't saying that shit. It's going to be some other CEO having to fill out this second half of this, But yeah, that's where we're at right now with it, okay? Bob doesn't want to give Nelson Peltz any credit whatsoever. Bob is not trying to share in the credit, all right? The guy is a giant ego monster, so he's going to make sure that, hey, look, it's either me or nobody, and he'll let the company burn to the ground, apparently. But I think the shareholders are going to step in and save it for Disney. I think the shareholders are going to get Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo on the board. I really believe that. This paper, right? This 133, you can see 133 pages. for this Trian white paper. This entire thing is damning. If you haven't seen it, I actually put a link to this in the description. If you haven't read through this thing and you want to check it out. But this thing is very, very damning. And it shows how much Bob Iger really needs these guys, and the shareholders are going to actually look at this. And I think they're going to be like, yeah, let's go ahead and bring Nelson Peltz and Rasulo in. What do we got to lose? Okay. We already lost money with Bob. We ain't got nothing else to lose at this point. Anyway, folks, you guys let me know what you think about this situation. I think Bob, unfortunately, bro, you just going to have to bite the bullet, suck it up, Buttercup. You're going to have to let these cats on the board so they can fix some things. That's just the way it is. All right. You guys let me know what you think. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.